So next, let's take a look at that positive and routine message sample. This one is short and sweet, which, as I mentioned before, is often the way with routine and positive message. You do what you need to, provide the necessary information and detail, and move on. You will see this placed in the letter block format properly. Okay, see there's the inside addresses. They have an order number here to whom it may concern. Then they have the closing. And you would sign this, of course. I like the use of bold that the writer is using here to highlight some of the most important detail, especially for getting things done. Maybe the writer could be more selective about which particular words and or phrases to bold, or maybe even consider using italics, color, or other devices or format design options to contrast the important and specific information in this message. Okay, on to the next. We will be able to work through these samples pretty quickly, but you will want to sharpen your skills at each particular message type while you have the time and leisure to do so. When you write these types of messages for real, you will usually be working through them very quickly and under time constraints. So now is the time to form your approaches and techniques so that later on you will be much more efficient at composing them. Wow, as you notice right away, the negative message is somewhat more involved and complicated than the positive routine message was. This is not always the case, but it is more often so because delivering negative news usually requires much more tact, technique, and diplomacy than positive or routine messages. Any message is likely to be longer also when it needs to utilize an indirect approach. Negative messages employing the indirect approach also usually require a buffer of some sort, and at first glance this one looks like it has a fairly decent one. Here the writer opens by complimenting the employees on their work and the recent sales increase, and it is only in the second paragraph that the readers begin to learn of the ending of their concierge services, and only definitively stated along with the official service ending date by the very end of the second paragraph. So you see, that's the indirect approach. So we would like to thank everyone for a fantastic job. Pat, you are fantastic employees here. Why we've had an increase to sales, however, our overall profits are down. So they're slowly, indirectly explaining their way into what they really need to tell you, which is, hey, we had to take away some of your benefits, and this is the benefit we took away. The next paragraph then spends time empathizing with the employees and offering additional time for lunch, upon approval, of course, during the period of transition. And the memo closes with another statement of praise and encouragement for the employees. And yes, this one's also in pretty good shape. If we look at this from a genre view, the negative message is composed here as a memo, and that is an appropriate choice depending upon the particular situation. And here it does sound as though the audience might be workers in a plant building or an industry who might be production workers. And if that is the case, posting a memo on the bulletin board or something of that sort is an extremely common practice. If they were office workers, on the other hand, who work at computers, however, like many messages that were delivered via memo in the past, this would more likely be delivered via email today because they would pay more attention to their email currently than they would ever to a memo posted up on a bulletin board.